俺はお前を打ち破る。このまま逃がしてなるもんか。お前をうやむやにしたまま幻想の暗闇に逃げ帰らせはしない。打ち破る。完全にな。だから立て。弱々しいふりなんかするな。お前はまだなんてか隠してる。俺にはわかる。
なぜおとなしく見逃してくれぬのか。
親父を、おふくろを、そしてエンゼを、いとこのみんなや親族のみんなを、そして使用人のみんなを、お前はあれだけもてあそんで殺した。その非道を俺は絶対に忘れない。許さない。俺の肩にはよ、まだエンジェの腕の感触が残ってるんだよ。俺はお前の非道を許さない。だからそんなことで逃がさない。
Bella's eyes burned with the flames of hatred. The days when I could earn his passion by appearing frail are now a matter of the distant past. Having been tricked once, Bella will never sympathize with me again.
狼と羊のパズルどころか、これじゃ狼少年だな。
That is not good. That is not good at all.
どうすればいいんだよ、わらわは。どうすれば。負けを認めぬためだけに無限に戦うのも、無限の魔女にふさわしき無限の拷問か。バトラに勝利を与えぬために無限に嫌がらせを繰り返すのもまた無限の魔女なのか。悲しいな。こんなのが無限の魔法なのか。もう嫌だ。魔女たちに無限に玩具にされるなんてもう嫌だ。勝ちはなく引き分け終了もない。ならばわらわを解放してくれる結末は魔女の道に落ちた時から、悪魔と契約をしたその日から、末路は悲劇であると。
どうした黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。六軒島の支配者ならば最後もそれにふさわしい貫禄を見せてみろ。
Lightning. The world was smashed with white. Fitting last moments for the ruler of Rokkenjima. Still pierced by the blue stakes, Battle faced the rainy sky and let out a laugh. Then she slowly raised her face and fixed her eyes on Bella.
愚か者め、そなたの健闘をたたえ、勝ちを譲ってやろうと思ったの。慢心したな。後悔するぞ。
それは譲られるものじゃねえ。お前から奪い取るものだ。お前だってそうだろうが。俺が魔女はいてもいいからなんて言い出す、そんな甘っちょろい勝ち方が納得できなかったから 前回はわざとああして最後にぶっ壊してくれたんだろうが。そうさ、俺は前回お前に一度情けをもらってたんじゃねえか。だからその借りをこれで返す。立て、俺の仇、俺の黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
バカがバカが愚か者が、二度とチャンスがあると思うな。
When Battle yelled, the blue stakes that had been piercing her chest blew to bits and disappeared. However, the blue wedge that had pierced her foot in the very beginning did not disappear.
まだ抜けてないぜ。18人目の X の青き真実が抜けていない。
そなたの復唱要求の一つに応じる。そなたの推理通り、全ゲームの開始時に金蔵はすでに死んでいる。
Huh.
しかし、ならばつまりは一人を抜かせばよいこと。わらわはこれまでこの島には19人以上の人間は存在しないと宣言してきた。それを金蔵の分一人減らす。この島には18人以上の人間は存在しない。以上とはつまり18人目を含めるぞ。つまり18人目の X は存在しない。これは全ゲームに共通することである。
そら見ろ、やっぱりまだとんでもねえ奥の手を隠してやがったぜ。
Oh, I sort of expected something like this to happen. Like, I seriously doubted that solving the mystery behind Kinzo's death would also solve the mystery of who the hidden culprit is. However, I guess this can help me as well. Instead of 15 people, like, as I deduced from the red web theory, I am down to 14 now. So, yeah, I guess that is a good thing. Alright, well, this time, we're gonna fight for real here.
17人しか人間のいない島が18人と偽られてきた。それが1人減って17人になり、ようやく正しい数になったってわけだ。これでお前をぶち抜いていたくさびが抜かれたな。戦いはゼロから仕切り直しってわけだ。
The blue wedge that had ensued in battle in place broke apart. There was no longer anything piercing battle. The scars on her body had disappeared completely. There, just as Balor had hoped for, stood the imposing figure of the Golden Witch who ruled Okenjima.
さあ来いバトラー。もう一度最初からだ。すべてについて青き真実で打ち抜いてみよ。わらわももはや遊ばぬ。逃げもせぬ。隠れもせぬ。そなたが不甲斐ないならばこの勝負、この場にて決着してくれようぜ。わらわの譲り勝利にて妥協しなかったことを永遠に後悔させてくれる。さあ第1のゲームからだ。
おう、第1のゲーム、第1の番からだ。
Round 2. Give it all you got, Beatrice.
最初の園芸倉庫で見つかった親族6人の殺人に不審な点はない。アリバイのない誰にでも犯行は可能だった。
有効だ。続けるぞ。 次のエヴァ夫婦の密室殺人はどうか。チェーンまでかかった密室であったぞ。赤き真実を追加する。二人は他殺である。密室構築後に片方を殺害の後に自殺したのではない。
Both were homicides.
また殺人は執行者犠牲者が共に同室して行われた。執行者が室外から殺害する手段は存在しない。
犯人にはアリバイのない人間を想定する。それは死者だ。最初の6人の死体の中には顔面粉砕による身元不明死体が含まれる。
Okay, so suicide is not possible. Like, whoever the perpetrator was entered the room and killed both Eva and Hideyoshi. And it can very well be possible that it is one of the 6 as well that were presumed dead in the garden shed. Either some of their bodies were fake, or someone faked their deaths somehow and continued on to kill Eva and Hideyoshi afterwards.
これが実は偽装死体で、犠牲者のふりをして姿をくらました犯人 X が2人を殺したとの仮説は可能だ。そして犯人は密室殺人構築後、ベッドの下に隠れ、俺たち全員をやり過ごしたんだ。
Okay, well, we have to be very careful here. It can be pretty easy for Beatrice to deny Red that our culprit was not hiding like was hiding in the bed, like under the bed, that is. Or if there is even a fake corpse to begin with.
よかろう、次だ。ボイラー室に至ったカノンが殺されたな。
Wait. What the hell? We're not done yet. Like, you're changing the subject before we even discuss the second Twilight, like in detail. You didn't even deny it. Unless she's gonna deny our blue truths like later. Like, that is a tactic, we shall see.
赤き真実を追加する。すべての生存者にアリバイがある。
All the survivors had alibis.
さらに死者も含めようぞ。つまり島のいかなる人間にも死者にもカノンは殺せなかった。
Alright, well fine. Then how about Kanon committing suicide?
誰にも殺せないなら自分で殺したということはあるかもな。ならカノン君は自殺かもしれない。復讐要求。カノン君は自殺ではない。
カノンは自殺ではない。
Alright, fine. I was sort of expecting that. Then, he got himself killed by accident. Or, he died of natural causes. Let's see about that.
重ねるぜ。復讐要求。カノン君は他殺された。
復讐を拒否する。
Okay. So she's declining to repeat. Meaning that either it is not true, and it truly was that he got himself killed by accident, or died of natural causes. Or she is declining to repeat because it is true. Meaning that he has to be one of the survivors, or the dead, the presumed dead. And yet, she's saying that they all had alibis. Alright then, fine. Then I shall apply the red web theory, in this case. That just because someone died, they only died by name and personality. For example, you can say that Shannon died, and she had alibi because of that. Because Shannon technically died. But what if she's still alive as a different person who doesn't have an alibi? For those that you didn't name. With a different name, that is. Whoever that person is has no alibi, and thus they killed Kanon.
その拒否で他殺を認めることも可能だが、お前はすでに赤で誰にも殺せなかったと宣言している。つまり他殺ではないんだ。これは第3のゲームの連鎖密室と同じなのさ。カノン君は 自殺でも他殺でもない理由で死亡したんだ。状況は不明だが事故死というわけさ。
Okay, well, let's see. Let's go with the accident first. Let's see if this is actually going to be right or not.
胸に杭がぶち込まれて死んでしまうような、どのようなドジを踏んで事故死に至ったかについての説明は悪魔の証明により説明拒否。
ほうほう、悪魔の力を身につけたそなたは今や敵なしだな。有効であるぞ。ならばその後の客間にての源氏、男女、熊沢の3名の殺人はどうか。
Wait, what? Okay, again, maybe she's using that tactic, but seriously, we didn't discuss in detail Kanon's murder. You didn't even deny that. I know that is not right.
無論同室していたマリアは殺していないぞ。そしてもちろん3人は他殺だ。
Alright. In which case, either it has to be one of the other humans on the island, like alive or presumed dead. Or Genji, Nanjo, and Kumasawa killed each other with guns.
殺人を実行したのは身元不明死体で姿をくらました犯人 X で説明できる。そもそもあの3人の顔面も粉砕されていた。どれかが替え玉死体の可能性は十分にある。
身元不明死体についてその身元を全て保証する。すなわち替え玉トリックは存在しない。
Okay. So, none of the bodies were fake. It can still be that either all three of them killed each other, or our hidden culprit did it. Like, outside of the 4 people that were in the parlor, that is.
ならば相打ち殺人で説明できる。3人はそれぞれに銃を持って時計回りに突きつけ、同時に相手の顔面を吹き飛ばした。その後マリアがその銃を回収して隠した。これならどうだ。
なんという暴論。気に入った。ならば最後の夏日は赤き真実を追加。夏日は他殺である。身元不明死体は一切なく、生存者も全員がアリバイがある。
Okay. In which case, it can be our hidden culprit, someone who has been presumed dead before, quote-unquote dead, going by my red web theory. It can be that our hidden culprit faced Nazi and managed to hatch her gun to kill her with her own gun. That or Natsu's gun was rigged to explode by their hidden culprit. A trap made by the hidden culprit themselves. Let's see.
トラップ X による間接殺人で説明できる。夏日おばさんの銃に細工がされてたんだ。あの銃は構えて撃った人間のちょうど眉間に弾をくれてやるように作られた罠の銃だったとすれば説明できる。
Okay, let's see.
夏日の額に埋まりし銃弾は夏日の銃から放たれたものではない。
Okay. Then the hidden culprit themselves had a gun and killed Nazi.
夏日おばさんは内容不明の手紙によりおびき出された可能性がある。そしてオールに呼び出された。そして特定の時刻に特定の場所に立つように強いられて、あらかじめ設置してあった銃を利用したトラップ X により殺害されたんだ。
素晴らしい。そなたの暴論はもはや心地よくすらある。敬意を表し第一のゲームをそなたに譲ろうぞ。感服したわ。
The instant battle admitted defeat in the first game. The stakes of blue truth once again pierced her chest, letting out a terrible sound. You gotta be kidding me, Beatrice. You're seriously gonna admit defeat on the first game, just like that? We barely even scratched the surface on the depths of the first game, goddammit.
これくらいでは答えぬわ。まだまだ来い。第2のゲームだ。
That'll just barely pull the stakes that had pierced her chest out. But even though there was no hole left behind, it seemed to be a deep wound which let out a massive amount of blood. And an intense pain of equal measure tormented her. But that dog grinned, grinding her teeth, and pushed for the next game to start. But I won't feel any sympathy. Just by her existing there, we will be killed and made to suffer over and over. And Angie will be burdened with a future of isolation.
そうとも。わらわがここにいて、ただ笑うだけでも永遠の地獄は続く。そなたを妹に返しはしない。妹は帰らぬ家族に1000年の間泣き続ければよい。
くそが情けも容赦もしねえぜ。第2のゲームだ。行くぜ。まずは最初の事件だ。6人が殺された礼拝堂での密室殺人については当時の俺がすでにカンパしている。マリアの鍵を何者かが密かに拝借し、事件終了後に密かにマリアのカバンに戻したんだ。
マリアの鍵はマリア受領後から翌日のローザ開封の瞬間まで誰の手にも渡っていない。
Damn it. I knew there was something not right about that twilight. Like back when we fought with the red troops. Well, fine. How about this? The key was not needed at all, and the door was already open when the group discovered the dead bodies.
GG の書斎と同じ構造で、礼拝堂の扉がオートロックだった可能性がある。つまり事件前に開錠しておいて扉が閉まりきらないように石でも挟んでおいた。そして鍵をマリアに預けた。施錠はオートのため鍵は必要なかったとの仮説もあり得る。
金蔵の書斎以外にオートロックの扉は存在しない。
扉は犠牲者たちが内側から閉めたんだ。6人の中に犯人がいて5人を殺し死んだふりをしていた。
6人は発見時にすでに全員死亡していた。全員が他殺だ。
Okay. Well, in that case, how about someone other? How about someone other than the 6 victims who hid themselves and waited to kill them? How about that?
6人は全員が純粋な犠牲者であり、相互の殺人には関与しない。相打ち殺人は存在しない。
熊沢さんをはじめ当時アリバイがない人間が存在した。そんな誰かが6人を殺し内側に隠れていたと仮定すれば問題ない。
あの礼拝堂には誰も隠れていなかった。よってその引きこもり密室は通用しない。
Alright. Then fine. Tell us that the chapel was locked from the time of the murder till their bodies were discovered. I'm still going with the idea that the chapel door was unlocked from the very beginning. Or, you know what? How about this one for a change? The culprit was not inside the chapel when the murder happened. And it very well can be that the door was always locked, and that the key was always in Maria's possession. In which case, the 6 victims died by a trap made by the culprit. The culprit set up a trap for them to get killed. That is certainly one other possibility. Let's see.
どうしたよ、後ろ宮バートラー。第2のゲームからは甘くないぜ。
A tremendous exchange of red and blue truth. the stakes and wedges of blue truth that I sent flying dart at the battle, one after the other. And one after another, battle cut them down with her red truth, her red treasured sword, knocking them out of the air. But the blood she had lost from the first game was probably awful. This intense exercise was putting her under even greater strain. I could see her breath growing ragged. And that's why I cannot hold back now. I'll corner that witch. And this time, I'll break through her.
Mada da ze. Ah, dame da. Zenzen dame da.
Okay, well, it can be that she can deny our red. Well, not our red, but rather my theory that our culprit was outside and the victims got killed by some form of trap. Like, I'm thinking of the possibility that she's gonna deny that. Like, it can be a pretty easy thing to deny that with some form of trap. Then our culprit was not even hiding in the first place. Like, our culprit was there in plain sight. They were not hiding inside the chapel, nor were they outside the chapel. They were inside, but they were not hiding. They killed the first 6, plain as day.
俺のへりくつは終わっちゃいねえぜ。ならばこれはどうだ。彼らに与えられた飲食物に小型爆弾が入っていて、腹の中で爆発した。
The small bombs.
つまりトラップ X による犯行の可能性。
Exactly. It very well can be that they ingested some form of bombs or chemicals that were inside the candy on the table, and then their stomachs went boom. That can be the trap that the culprit used.
気づかずに飲み込んで腹をぶちまけるような爆弾の詳細については悪魔の証明。説明拒否。
なんだよそりゃ。小型爆弾
But Battle failed to knock down the blue witch as it flew at an angle like curveball. No. It let out a loud thunk and gouged itself deeply into her left shoulder. However, despite being on the receiving end of it, it seems she couldn't stop laughing at how much of a curveball it was. Yeah, no wonder. Even I'm amazed at how screwed up this reasoning is. Yeah, well, you know what? Desperate times require desperate measures. Like, if it's small bombs, then it can be small bombs.
好きなだけ笑いやがれ。文句があるのか。
なし。その暴論や心地よし。次なるジェシカとカノンの密室は。
問題ない。使用人の誰かが犯人であればマスターキーを使える。密室ですらない。
その後使用人室でカノンらしき謎の人物が襲いかかり、南條と熊沢が殺されたな。カノンの死亡はあの時刻以前に赤で宣言済みだった。ならばあのカノンは何者だというのか。
Okay. Either that Kanon was a fake one, that, you know, a person disguised themselves as Kanon, and the others believed it. Or there was no Kanon there to begin with. Everyone lied about Kanon being the one responsible with all that happened. Someone else other than Kanon killed Nanjo and Kumasawa, and the rest lied to us that it was Kanon.
カノン君の死亡は赤で宣言済みならば生きているわけがない。よって襲われた彼らがカノン君と誤認するような何者かの変装の可能性がある。
彼らは異なる人物をカノンと誤認することは絶対にない。
ならば金蔵の名の世襲と同じに カノンの名が世襲された可能性がある。カノン君が殺され、別の人物がその名を受け継ぎ、彼らを襲ったと仮定できる。
It sounded like a watermelon being squashed right out, and the wedge was buried in deep into Battle's left flank. It looked like she fell that one. Maybe it hit her in a bad spot. After leaning over and mourning for a while, she laughed it off as though trying to make it seem like not a big deal. Yeah, I can tell. I must have heard like a bitch.
またしてもこともなげに人間の誰かを犯人に仕立ててきやがったぜ。ゲーム盤上では口が裂けても言えぬことを実にシャーシャーとのたまん。しかし有効だ。その暴言心地よし。心地よいぞ。これは痛みではない。心地よさだ。
When Battle howled, the wedge that had pierced her was blasted away. But a wound remained, and continued tormenting her with intense pain.
いいのか？続けていくぜ。第2のゲームの最後の殺人。夏日おばさんの部屋で死んだ3人についての青き真実は、18人目の X を否定されても有効のはず。赤で反論はあるか？なければ第2のゲームも俺のものだ。
ああ、ないぞ。そのようなさまつで戦うのもつまらない。くれてやる。第2のゲームなぞ貴様にくれてやるわ。
This is not it. This is definitely not it. I'm smelling something fishy here. And it is definitely Battle. No way! No way I'm not gonna accept such easy answers. You gotta be kidding me. The instant she admitted defeat in the second game. This time 2 blue stakes gouged through Battle's chest. The witch's lungs were gouged, and her intestines. The witch's face twisted in anguish. Her body twisted as she gasped in pain.
痛えのか？
痛い？いやいや、くすぐったいくらいよ。全身を細切れにされてくず肉の山にされたお前の妹に比べればね。お前もくず肉にしてやるぞ。兄弟仲良く混ぜて合いびきにしてくれるわ。
ぶち殺してやる。お前を同じ細切れにしてやる。次だ。第3のゲームだ。いつまでへばってやがれ。てめえを地獄に叩き落としてやるのはこれからだ。
無論よ。これくらいでへばるものか。そうともまだまだこれからよ。さあ第3のゲームを始めようぞ。まずは最初の6連結の連鎖密室。本来ならこの密室はそなたが当時にカンパしている。しかしそなたは金蔵を殺してしまった。
At the time, I hypothesized that Gramps was the culprit. And that after killing the other 5 and stringing the keys across each room, he constructed his own locked room in the boiler room. Where, in the middle of carrying out some kind of scheme, he had an accident which resulted in him burning to death in the boiler. But now I've gone and declared that Gramps was already dead, so I've denied my own theory. Oh, the irony. However,
問題ない。ジジイ以外にも犯行可能な人間は大勢いる。親族会議中だった大人たちが全員グルで犯行に及んだとさえ言い切れる。
マスターキー5本は全て5人の使用人の懐よりそれぞれ発見された。個別の鍵は死体の傍らの封筒の中に。つまり連鎖密室に関わる全ての鍵が連鎖密室内に閉じ込められていたわけだ。ドアの隙間だの窓の隙間だの通気口だの、そんなところを使って密室外から鍵を戻すことなどできるぞ。
なら毒ガスで殺したんだ。鍵は通らなくてもガスなら通るぜ。密室の外から殺人を実行したんだ。
彼ら全員には致命傷となった重曹と思わしき傷跡があったぞ。室外からの殺害は不可能だぞ。さらに赤を重ねようぞ。金蔵を除く5人の殺人の際、殺人者は必ず同室していた。自殺者がいないことは当時に赤で宣言済みだ。
in which case, the same kind of theory as we had before still stands, though. The culprit was one of the five. They killed and created a loop of murders. And then the culprit locked themselves in the room and quote-unquote killed their personality/name by accident or natural causes or whatever. Like, going by my red theory. And then a new personality has risen and pretended to be dead when their body got discovered.
犯人は全員をそれぞれの部屋で殺害後、連鎖密室を構築した。しかし最後の部屋の鍵だけはどうしても密室内に戻せない。だが戻すことはできたぜ。死体の第一発見者が鍵を見つけたふりをして誰かの死体のポケットから取り出して見せればいいからだ。
Oh. She couldn't fully block that blue stake's retort. Pushed back by the blue wedges unleashed one after another, Battle finally failed to block one, and once again took a severe wound. As she howled in pain, she pulled out the blue wedge that had pierced her right arm. Battle's entire body had been slashed and pierced with blue wedges, stakes, and blades, over and over again. And by now, her whole body was covered in blood. But even so, Battle grinned, cackled, as though she was enjoying it.
エンジェに親を連れ戻して帰宅すると約束した男がどの口で親を犯人にした説を語るというのか。いいぜ、それでもいいんだぜ。家族で仲良く大量殺人に手を染めて決して落ちぬ血にまみれながらエンジェのところに帰れよ。それでこそ魔女の島からの生還者にお似合いだぜ。クズ肉エンジェにぴったりだ。
黙りやがれ。てめえを殺せ。バラバラにして殺せ。命乞いの必要はないぜ。絶対にこの手で最悪の死を与えてやる。
ああ、そなたならできるだろうよ。千年の果てに残虐の限りを尽くしきったわらわにそれに見合う最後を与えてくれるだろうよ。ああ、それは痛いのか辛いのか、それともくすぐったいのかな。これくらいで答えるかよ。来いよ後ろ宮バトラー、まだ謎は残ってるぜ。
Battle had already countered my first powerful move, the 18-person eggs, by making the number of people on the island 17. But just limiting the number of people to 17 doesn't overturn the theory that Aonteva is the culprit. I can crush most of the murders in the third game with that theory. Blood was dripping from all over the body of the Golden Witch. I was cornered, and this time, completely without mercy. And this isn't a game played only to determine the winner and lose. Yeah. We're not playing around here. Even just playing and fighting like this here delays the trip home. In her isolation, Angie will continue to have her heart torn apart by loneliness and sadness. I have to go back to Angie as fast as I can.
ボロボロだな。虫の息ってやつか。
まだまだ答えぬわ。これくらい。こそばよいわ。
いらねえようだな。容赦。
もとよりそのつもりもなかろうが。
存分に行くぜ。
そうせよ。逆の立場だった時、わらわは容赦しなかった。だからそなたもそのチャンスがあったならそうするべきであろうが。じゃないとまた別の世界の孤独な演者を呼んで、今度は獅子を引きちぎって槍に刺して炙り焼きにしちまうぜ。
黙れ。もう二度と俺の家族も親族も、そして使用人のみんなもお前のおもちゃにはさせねえぜ。俺はすでに第4のゲームの謎も全て青き真実で打ち破っている。残る謎は第3のゲームの一番最後、南條先生の殺人だけだぜ。
おや、わらわはもうそんなところまで追い詰められていたか。わらわも風前の灯火であるな。
She coughed violently, spitting up blood. Her insides had been punched through so many times. It was only natural.
ということは、この南條先生殺しの謎だけがお前が魔女であることの最後の防衛戦ってことになるな。
そうなるな。これを破られたのだ。わらわは全ての謎を破られたことになる。そなたの真実のいずれかを新しき赤き真実で反論するか、新しき謎を提示しない限り、わらわは死ぬ。
追い詰められて風前の灯火って感じには見えねえぜ。まだ何か隠し玉を持ってやがるな。
さてどうかな。わらわはもはや1000年の長すぎる生涯に空いている。その果てに巡り合ったそなたという好敵手によって生涯を閉じるのも悪くないと思い始めている。そなたならやれるよな。やってくれよ。頼むよ。殺してくれよ。殺してばっかりでさ、殺された試しがねえんだよ。お前ら18人を幾百と殺してはきたけれど、殺された試しは一度もねえから、一回くらいは経験してみてんだよ。
Yours graced the show bravado, unchanged from before. Her blood dripped from her mouth. Her once beautiful dress was covered with holes, and blood poured from all over her body, making her physical appearance look very different from her attitude. Perhaps she was still suffering from the shot she'd taken to the flank. the way she was unconsciously clutching her leg that traces evidence. But there's no room for compassion. As long as I feel sympathy for this witch, my family and I won't be released from this place. Until I defeat her, we won't be able to go home. In this world we live in, even people who see each other as enemies can come to understand each other, yet the situation changes. Well, absolute evil does exist. And that is an evil which brings misfortune by its very existence, and is to be spared no compromise. Just by continuing to exist, it is evil.
お前を哀れには思わない。お前が俺たちの誰にも憐れまなかったように。
そうともさ、お前らなんてゲームの駒だぜ。毎回最初の6人は誰を殺そうかな、次の2人はどう殺そうかな、もっとグロい殺し方はねえかなって考えるのは最高に楽しいぜ。なあバトラよ、少し改心するから今回も許してくれよ。そしたらさ、もうちょっとマシな殺し方に変えてやるからよ。誰をどの順でどんな風に殺すか、お前の希望も聞いてやるからよ。楽しいぜ、人の命をもてあそぶってのはよ。お前なら考えつくよ。エンジェをもっとクズ肉にしてやる方法はよ。来いよバトラー、南條殺し暴いてみろ。
I am pretty curious. What's it gonna be, Beller? The 18-person X was destroyed, but I won't give in. I'll stop that witch's breeding cold. The end of the third game. It was declared in red that the 4 survivors at that point in time, Beller, Eva, Jiska, and Nanjo, were all unrelated to Nanjo's murder. And it was also declared that he was murdered directly, right before his eyes. All other people had the strongest alibi of having their deaths declared in red. Without using the 18th person X, I have to break through this. Think. Don't stop thinking. Red doesn't only bind me. It's also supposed to be her weak point. I gotta somehow use it against her. And that's right. There's still a gap. Yeah. This way, I can break through it. Beatrice's legend of the witch is over.
確かに他の連中は死亡だったろうさ。だが赤で死亡を宣言されたのは南條先生が死んだ瞬間ではない。厳密に言えば南條先生の死体が見つかった後の俺とエヴァの戦いにおいてだ。つまり南條先生を殺した時点では生きていた何者かがエヴァの死亡宣言までの間に死亡していれば、その感激は縫えることになる。
I see. So we're talking about the timing of which the red web was stated. I can see that being the case, although admittedly it is such an easy solution. One could say that someone like Beatrice or Beatrice can easily deny that in red.
つまりはこういうことさ。エヴァの死亡宣言で初めて死亡とされた人物の中に犯人がいて、その人物は最初うまいこと死んだふりをして俺たちをやり過ごした。そして赤での死亡宣言がないまま俺たちには死んだと思い込ませた。そして南條先生を殺し、その後に何かの理由で死んだ。そしてその後にエヴァが赤で死亡宣言を出す。以上の仮説でも 南條先生の事件は説明できる。
How's that, Beatrice? When he forcefully asked that question, there was a terrible sound that could only be likened to that of a compressor, and a blue stake as thick as a log appeared from under the earth and skewered the Golden Witch battle, pulling her up into the air. Ugly tearing sounds rang out one after another, and each time, a blue stake or wedge appeared and impaled Beatrice's body. When that finally ended, her tragic form was exposed there, pin-cushioned by more than 10 stakes and wedged all over her body, and dripping with blood, dangling and crucified. There was none of the dignity of the brutal witch who had sneered at the honor of the dead, and toyed with and killed hundreds of the living. The rain, which had started falling at some point, quietly tormented the crucified witch. As Battler heaved with his breathing, he waited for some kind of answer from the Golden Witch. Well, I can definitely say that this was one heck of a show. Congratulations, Batola. Beatrice. I guess in the end there are two options for me to choose from. Either most of my theories that I had before that I created for these murders, especially the red web, didn't, like, all of that didn't mean anything, and I overcomplicated things way too much than it was necessary, and that the answers were as easy as Battler's Blue Truth here. Or this entire battle was not even close to being a real fight, that it was all completely staged, and that the mystery is still far from being solved. As for what option I'm gonna go for, well, let's just say that the story is still not over in my eyes. As it is also clearly obvious that this is clearly not the end. It very well can be that these blue truths that Battler conjured, they didn't hurt Beatrice because those are exactly how it happened, but rather because they are so far from being the truth, it hurts Beatrice so much that Battler still doesn't get it. Like, it very well can be that. Although, it wasn't long. It took the witch at least a little bit of time before she showed any signs of life.
自業自得だぜ。お前が殺めてきた人々の痛みの一部を思い知れ。
Even as he said that, it seemed Battler had lost a little of his forcefulness at this extremely pitiful sight. He couldn't help but avert his eyes from a woman exposed in such a brutal fashion, even if she was his enemy. But even so, unless he destroyed Beatrice, the battle wouldn't end.
Batola, 頼むよ。
Huh? Battler let out a sob.
見てよ。すげえ。見てよ。 終わらせて。終わらせて。これでもまだ死ねねえんだよ。こんなに痛えのにまだ死ねねえんだよ。
俺に何を求めやがる。
終わらせて。この苦痛から解放して。
Bato's expression was a soggy mess of blood and tears. Certainly, Bato had been tricked by her at one point, so he could probably have suspected her expression, and even her tears, of being an act. However, Bato believed those tears. After all, those tears had the red of truth mixed in with them.
どうすりゃいい。どうすればお前の痛みを終わらせられる。
今からすべてを晒すから。それがわらわの心臓。
心臓。
どうして
ベアト。
殺して。もう死ぬ。
Were those tears of pain and torment? Or else... In a way, that pitiful expression was painful for Bato to look at, even after burning with such anger.
早くヘンゼのところに帰ってあげ。
帰るためじゃない。お前の痛みを止めるために。お前の願いを聞く。
ありがとう、バトラー。
With her last breaths, Bato summoned up all her remaining strength and managed to close both of her hands into fists. A red light began to gather at those fists. Then she lifted her arms, as though wishing for something from heaven.
バトラーなら殺せるから。私のすべて、心臓を潰して貫いてね。
The red light around both her arms got stronger and stronger.
おね。
She got that far into the words, and then her face tilted to the side a bit. Her right arm lost its light and flopped down. But her left arm alone did not lose its light, and remained held up towards the heavens. Then, before Battler's eyes, another battle appeared with a faint form, transparent like a curtain. The crucified battle had already lost consciousness. However, the newly appeared faint battle quietly looked at me, her eyes expressionless, and spoke, in an uncharacteristically polite tone.
後ろ宮バトル。今から私があなたを殺します。
それで
そしてたった今、この島にはあなた以外誰もいません。この島で生きているのはあなただけです。島の外の存在は一切干渉できません。
I understood. This was the only thing left keeping Beatrice a witch. The final mystery. And Battle was holding it out to me, entreating me to solve her final mystery and kill her.
来いよ。お前の最後の謎。俺が受け取ってやる。
この島にあなたはたった一人。そしてもちろん私はあなたではない。なのに私は今ここにいて、これからあなたを殺します。
南條先生殺しの謎の強化版ってわけか。
Well, I guess I can answer that in a couple of ways. One of them being my red web theory, or some form of death of the person inside you. That the real you feels so dead inside, you barely register as being alive when you murder Battler. I mean, I guess I can go with either of them, or there is some other explanation that I could conjure, but who am I to say that I can proclaim many of my explanations as true, when we still have to solve the real mystery of who you truly are, and to understand you. Until we solve that, though, I don't think it would be wise to answer this. At least, on my end.
それで
私は誰？
それがお前の最後の出題なのか。
私は誰？
足も差し出せるわ。だからどうか願いを叶えて。あなたが探してた春はここよ。そんなとこにはないの。たどり着けない永遠に。戻ることなどできないの。後ろの道は消え